what are some of the struggles that you've gone through, and how have you kind of overcame those?
Regardless of what's happening, it's not that you're not going to make it. You just probably need the right resources. And that's what I would tell somebody. If you're, especially in the door-to-door game.
We're in door-to-door, but, we're sitting here right now with you. We're going through the door-to-door playbook. You've got, the world-class practices. You don't have to spend time figuring it out. Someone else has already, done exactly what you want to be doing.
And it's all about getting around the right people. As a brand new rep, if you're planning to get into solar or, any other business, look for the ones who are crushing it, but the ones who also are willing to give out information, who are willing to coach you, who are willing to train you, take you under their wing, but then you've got to put in the work as well.
What are some advice you'd give kind of that young new entrepreneur going through their ups and downs? Like what are some of the struggles that you've gone through, and how have you kind of overcame those?
So a lot of the door game has to do a lot with your mental state, right? You said you're close to the mic. So a lot of your mental state. So, and I speak from experience, right? One of the biggest things is just, for me personally, is getting out of the home, right? And when I started realizing and being self-aware that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do on a day-to-day basis, it completely changed everything. And I'm talking about even when I started my team, right? I had to lead from the forefront, and I had to go out there and let the guys know that the opportunity was real, that the money was real, it was tangible, you could touch it, you could smell it, right? You can ride in it, right? And once I realized that that was possible, then I started basically integrating and remaining I remained a student for this whole time that I've been in the industry. So I reached out to you, I reached out to Albert, I paid $5,000 to Albert, I paid $15,000 a year, right, to come over here and teach us. But dude, I've already gotten, my ROI is probably gonna be in about 20 days.
Yeah.
And that's by 100%, by 100%, right?
Yeah, I'll make it faster than that.
And I think that's what makes me a little bit different, bro. Like, even though I'm not as fluid as everybody, even though I'm not as great at doing this, dude, I'm gonna make it, no matter what. Nobody's gonna stop me. So regardless of what's happening, it's not that you're not gonna make it, you just probably need the right resources. And that's what I would tell somebody. If you're, especially in the door-to-door game, don't give up, right? Go super hard, and then start getting mentorship, like with guys like Sam. These guys are, when I talk to them, I was like, holy shit, I don't really have to say anything to these guys, right? Because they're where they need to be. But if you're not making it, it's just you're not getting the right information from the right people. And I would recommend you start looking for mentors that help you get there faster. Because I have a model that says you could either get there in 6 months, you could either get there in a year and a half, or get there in 6 months. And you could even get there in a month if you really wanted to. So, that's my biggest thing. My biggest advice to everybody is just stay coachable, remain a student, and then pass on the information to everybody else. So that's what I would say to everybody, especially the guys that are struggling right now.
That's powerful.
Yeah, what about you, Carlos? Like, as you've kind of gone through an entrepreneurial journey, you've seen a lot of businesses, you've watched a lot of people in your group. What advice would you give kind of that young entrepreneur that just started on their own, they're going through the struggle?
Yeah, man, get around the right people. So all, the success that we've, built up until today has been because we're around the right people, right? So for example, me and Chad are always together with everything that we do. As soon as we're coming here to the US, I started reaching out, but I watched very carefully on the response times, watched very carefully on, how friendly people were and how much, love there was for the relationship. That's why I came to, work with Roberto, because I felt that, that connection. And it's all about getting around the right people. As a brand new rep, if you're planning to get into solar or, any other business, look for the ones who are crushing it, but the ones who also are willing to give out information, who are willing to coach you, who are willing to train you, take you under their wing, but then you've got to put in the work as well. So that's what I would say, man. Just get around the right people. Yeah, and this room right now is like getting around the right people. This doesn't happen by accident, by the way.
I was shocked coming in.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I said what I meant you guys to do. You made this happen. Roberto made this happen. What about you, Chad?
Just in addition to being around the right people, I just want to add to that as well. I mean, go out and seek the people who are doing or who are in the position that you want to be in, and follow in their footsteps as well. So, I mean, we're in door to door, but we're sitting here right now with you. We're going through the door to door playbook. You've got the world-class practices. You don't have to spend time figuring it out. Someone else has already done exactly what you want to be doing, and they can break it down. You need that proximity. Do whatever it takes to actually gain that proximity, and then just basically replicate for yourself.
It was so crazy. Like yesterday, coming down here, we were at the airport, and we park our car in the economy lot. We get on the bus to get to the airport, and Mia sits back and she's like, "Crap, I forgot my phone." And we're like 30 minutes till takeoff, and we're just like, "Ah, crap." So we get off the economy lot bus, and we're like, "Oh, it's like a half-mile hike back to the thing." We're like, "Well, we can wait for a bus." And we're like, "There's 30 minutes." We're like looking at the clock. We're like, "There's no way we make this." Like it's like boarding in 10 minutes, and we're still in the economy lot. And so we're sitting there, head down, and I text my buddy because we're all coming to California, and he's like, I was like, "Hey," it's like I call him up. I was like, "Hey, dude, are you flying down to Cali?" He's like, "Yeah, we leave in an hour. Can you get to the Provo airport?" And I was like,
the private jet?
Yeah. So I was like, proximity, right? So I'm like, talk about like be around proximity. Like I don't have no private jet, but like I called my buddy. I was like, "Hey, dude," he's like, "Yeah, be there in an hour." I was like, "Yeah, we got to get to the car. Let's go." So we fly down to a different airport, and we're there, and just even the conversation, sitting in a private jet, hanging out with somebody that has hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're just like, holy crap, we're in a different league here. And we walk out of that jet and we're like, we could do this. And I asked him, I was like, what's it take to get a jet? And he's like, okay, it's 100% depreciation tax right off year one. He breaks it down, all the costs. And I was like, that's not that much farther than we think it would be. Like in my head, I'm like, private jet status. And I was like, wait a minute, that's like next step. Like that's not that far. Like just seeing in the simple steps. I talked about a commercial deal I'm working on, and he had built a commercial facility similar to the one that I have. And I go, so what did it take? Like who'd you use the designers? Like here's the contractor, here's the thing. You just get a lot of land, and it's like just like building a house. And I was like, success leaves clues. It has footprints. You go hang out with the people that are doing stuff that's cooler than you and bigger and badder ass than you, and you're like, damn, it's not that hard. Like life doesn't need to be that hard. And when you get in proximity like that, you're just like, oh, I could do that. Yeah. I'm like that. Yeah. So huge point of that.
And that's not an accident, you getting onto that, private jet. That's a culmination of that decision that you first made of, I'm going to start building this podcast, I'm going to start building relationships. That is like, an outcome of, the last, 5-10 years of you building those particular relationships.
And having the respect where he's not just like, who's this cat to be like, I'm going to let this like, like we did have some relationship equity there, and it was funny. So here's the tip though, and this is coming from him. So we get off the plane at Millionaire over in Burbank, and we're in the bathroom, and I look at him, I was like, hey, can I chip in for gas or something? You know what I mean? This isn't like your typical, like, can I chip in for gas? Like, this is like for jet fuel, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm I was like, I at least canceled my Southwest flight that was $250. Like, that could help a little bit, right? Like, in my head, right? And then what he says, you know what he says? He goes, I don't need your freaking $250, dude. He's like, what I want is when I call in a favor that I know that I got you and you got my back when I need a favor. He's like, that favor that I call in.
That's a line straight out of Godfather as well. Yeah. No, it is. I just want to be able to call on you for a favor someday.
He literally just said that. And I go, touche. I got your back when you need it. Like, I'm here. Like, what do you need?
And you will definitely be there.
And I will.
Yeah. And just to make it relatable for the, for any team member out there, because there are guys, who are in fear of knocking on their very first door. When you've got that proximity, it elevates you to a point where you are inspired to take action as well. Because some people ask us, like, how did we actually even make the move to Australia? What did you actually do? US. Yeah. Oh, sorry, to US. Yeah. I'm forgetting where I am now.
California, it's its own country, by the way.
Yeah.
You're not even in the US yet. You got to cross over the border to Nevada.
But yeah, when you pay to, pay for the access, or be around the people who have achieved what you want to achieve as well, you will get over that fear factor. Because you will be inspired to take action.